It's working now. Right. So to get back to your question, so in the first session, I'd put a slide out where it explains what we are trying to achieve. If you remember, do you remember this? I had presented.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is shows a clear workflow, right? What it's not scattered, right? I mean, you use the word scattered, so I'm a little bit confused about what you mean by that. This,
I mean,
this
we are using different tools which are not really at one place, or maybe let's say if we do web scraping, that we have to use different tools, and then if we want to do data analysis and all that, then maybe we have to do. I mean, we have to use different tools. So
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, at each stage there are various tools. I mean, that's so the that's the whole thing about TDS. It's tools in data science. So at each stage there you have to learn, and yeah, we will teach you. We will teach you the ropes, as in we will say, okay, this is the tool. This is how you can use it. But then developing advanced techniques with those tools are things you will have to figure out through documentation, through Chat GPT. But we'll do demos, live demos for various things, and the team does give a lot of help. But by the same token, there is also a lot of effort that will be required from your side as well. So both will have to be there. But in terms of handholding, it won't be as much as say in the foundation level, and it won't be as much as say in the earlier parts of the diploma. When you come to this subject, we will introduce you to the tools, and then we will give you a working demo of what it might look like in a simple case so that you can understand how it works. But then building the pipelines and things of that sort, we will show some workflows, but it may not cover every detail, and those things you will have to pick up through the course. Yeah, but lot of tools definitely, and each stage there are many things to understand, and that's what makes it challenging. But I think compared to previous years, we have a little more coherent pathway this time, which follows this um, uh, order that we have here, with one difference: the deploy part will be taught before the sourcing part. So today, what you saw, the HTML and HTTP requests and all, that's kind of important for sourcing. So, but it's a precursor to sourcing. When we come to teaching sourcing, at that point, we will expect you to understand those concepts of the methods without us having to explain it, because we'll be moving on very rapidly through various aspects of TDS. But yeah, we'll teach tools, deploy, and then sourcing, and then the rest of the pathway is the same.
okay, got it.
Sujal, are you in the call?
Yeah, Kalkana on the call.
Okay, great. You can take over. Thanks.
Sure. So I just want to make sure my audio is crisp and clear before I get started. So am I audible?
If you can increase it, it'll be clearer.
Okay, so I'll just try talking a bit louder, if that's fine. Uh, is this better?
A bit more will be.
Yeah, I'll try to doing that, okay? So is that for everyone or this is fine? I just want a confirmation from everyone before I start.
Fine.
Fine, right? All right, so let me just share my screen. Okay, so folks, today we'll be going over these concepts. So it's basically a version control that we'll be discussing in the beginning, and then we'll be discussing about files, different types of files, and what should be our mental state, right? Or like an approach to using to while developing an app. When do we choose what? And when we are developing an application, right? What should we take care of? What would logs help us with? What are outputs, and what is the difference between errors, right? And why is there let's say, the need for such an application. So for every application that we build, it is to solve a problem, and most of the time it is to remove the manual work. And for this, let's say, important aspect of, let's say, application building, having an automation mindset is very important. And also security basics. So this will basically include, let's say you have API keys, right? So how do we store them safely when it comes to, like, let's say, having your code out in public? How do you secure this, right? So we'll be going over those. So I've prepared a few slides, and let's get started with the first one. We'll be coding as we go along, right? So yeah, so this is the first slide, and this is basically because for, let's say, why do we use tools and languages, right? So whenever we are, like, let's say on GitHub, or let's say, let's pick a simpler example. Let's say GPT, right? We think it's magic that it's answering everything, like automatically, right? Like I just give it a query and it's just answering me. For people who haven't had any exposure to, like, let's say AI, right? The mathematical intuition, or let's say a basic what do you call it, workflow of how the chatbots work. For them, AI is basically magic. But for people who have had some experience, right? GPT is, let's say, a form of, like, let's say, a tool that has been built after combining a lot of tools, right? So anyone who would like to give, like, a basic analogy of how chatbots are built? Anyone? It can be just a very surface layer, just the tip of the iceberg, because you'll be doing something similar to this in TDS. You guys can go ahead. The stage is open. All right. So it seems like nobody wants to go ahead. It's fine. It's your first days in here. So all right. So um, basically, a chatbot, right? Let's say RAG, for example. RAG is made up of several components, and each component has its own role. In our case, right? Let's say GPT, it is built using, let's say, different pipelines. So there is an LM in the backend, right? And there is prompt fine tuning, prompt engineering that's done for every category. And then you have this entire interface for the front end, right? So if Javraj, I think in the evening, Javraj had, let's say, gone over these network tabs, right? So if I just simply write prompt and let's say I hit this, so there will be several things that will be going over here, and one of them will be a let's say API call made to the backend, right? So see, there's like different types of API calls going to the backend, and you'll be able to view them as we go along. So these are all the API endpoints from the backend, right? And all of these have a component to play, and this is where the mechanics come in, right? It's a huge application, but it's built on several mechanics, right? It's not one thing. It's not magic that's happening over here. There are actual people working on every part of this product to make this, let's say, reliable as well as, helpful for us. So every part, as you see over here, right? Every team, there's, like, you cannot imagine billions of people, not billions, sorry, hundreds of people working on, let's say, a single problem, right? So each pipeline has several people, and each pipeline has several components in them, right? So as you can see, this is not magic that's happening. This is actual, it's a tools that are being, let's say, combined into a single product. So when you require so many teams and so many people, right, to collaborate on a single thing, you have Git that comes in, right? So version control, as we'd like to call it, right? So the thing is, let's say I open my terminal, right? Everyone following along up to here, just want a
Yes, sir.
moment, right? So let's just get started with some. I'll get back to this slide later. Let me just code and explain some stuff. All right. So Let me just go to work and let's just create a new directory named TDS session 4. All right. Now go to this page and let me write something. Okay, so let me write something on my, let's say, app dot, or let's say, let's not code for now. Let's just have a txt file, session 1 dot txt. Right now, let's say let me just insert, I am Sujal, right? So this is my first line of text that I have written, right? Right now, if I see this, I have written I am Sujal phase 1, right? Okay, so I think it would be so this is something that I have written. If I want to collaborate on this without this idea of having version control, that is GitHub, all right, I need to share this file to you guys, right? Through Drive, through WhatsApp, through just copy pasting. I have to send it to you guys. And let's say I send this to, let's say, Carlton, right? What will, if he has to edit, he will come here, right? He will save this file, he'll create a copy of it, and let's say he says, uh, just a second, edited by Carlton, right? And this is the second step, right? Now, as you can see, we have this, right? Carlton, it's edited by Carlton, but now this has to change to session 2. Why? Or let's say I can just make a copy of this file, like session1.txt. Or let me just open this up in the editor. Hey guys, do let me know if I'm going too fast, all right? So let's say I send this file to Carlton, right? Without version control, let's say it's just WhatsApp, it's just copy paste, some form or the other. He will keep this version as the base, right? And let's say he has session 1 Carlton dot txt, right? Whatever he has here, he'll be copying over here, which it's already a copy of it, and then he'll have some text that's edited by Carlton, right? This is the second step. And now it'll come back to me again, and then I'll copy paste, I'll keep the saves of all of these, and then I'll do again. So you'll see that it's a lot of files that's being accumulated, and also it's not really efficient to do this, right? So for that basic reason, we have this tool called version control. And yes, there's a lot of tools for version control, but Git is like, let's say, the standard for now, right? It's the best product for this, and it's also like, let's say, the tool that most companies use. So just see this before, right? What happens if you use the traditional overwriting method, right? You have the same project, you have the v2, you have the real, you have the fixed, so many versions, right? But because of Git, you have something that's like, I'll just show it to you. I think that's better, right? So guys, is everyone here with me? I'll just want to make sure that
Yes, sir.
everyone, yeah, right. So if nothing's clear, it's fine. You'll be understanding it in, let's say, more hands-on way. But for anyone who hasn't configured GitHub yet, right? There's two ways to go about it. You can search up for a YouTube video, right? How to set up Git and GitHub in whatever OS you have, right? OS, be it Mac, be it Windows. You'll find plenty of sources, right? There's a lot of sources that you can go into. And also, if you encounter any errors, just copy paste whatever the error is over here, right? Let's say how to set up Git and GitHub on my device, right? So on my, let's say, Linux Mint, it'll just give me a lot of steps to do, and which generally work, right? If it doesn't, then there will be logs that will help you out, right? So you can figure it out, I'd say, right? This is something that I think you guys should figure out. It's just a basic creation of your account and all of that. Once it's done, it's very, very easy to get started. All right. So firstly, let me, yeah, please go ahead, Shorab.
Just want to ask that this is you are creating the Git on the uh, OS, but what we can do from the website also, GitHub website,
Okay.
directly
So
create
there's a difference
repository.
between Git and GitHub. So I'll get back to you just in 1 second. I have this. All right. So the thing that you're talking about is the platform, right? It lives on the internet. So it's out for everyone to see. Whatever is there, right? This setup for Git, right? This is happening on your local device. So this is a tool that lives on your computer, which helps us upload as well as pull from the internet. Did you understand? You'll get
Okay,
you'll be much clear as we go along. So the next step for me was to open GitHub, the online version.
okay.
All right. So up till here, like I just want the confirmation from everyone. Are we on the same track, right? So just remember the problem first. Okay, what problem are we trying to solve with Git? All right. So let's just start a new repo, and you can have. I'll just share the repo in the chat as well. So TDS is session 4, 25, 26. Sorry, 26. Right. So let's just have this. And do I need to add anything? Should I add anything? Maybe a readme. Right. So, or I can just do that later. Right. So I'll just create a repo. Right. So a repo has been initialized. So the steps have been given to initialize on my, let's say, local system. I'll be doing it in a bit. Right. So let's remove this for now. I'll remove this. I'll go back to my terminal. Right. I'll just clear everything and just see for now. There's only session 1 and Sujal phase 1. That's it. Right. Now, next thing we are going to do is we are just going to copy paste all of these commands one by one. All right. Now, what does git init do? So git init basically initializes the Git environment for that particular folder structure. Unless and until there is git init, you cannot have any other command. So if I just try to write git add session1.txt, I won't be able to do it because it is not a Git repository yet. So without the git init, I won't be able to perform any operations of Git. So once this is done, an empty in a Git repository has been initialized. When see the Git status, there's no commits yet. There's no untracked. There's all of these files are untracked, right? So this file is untracked, and there's nothing to commit. Right. Sorry. So the next step is to add, right? So over here they have said add readme, but there's four of these let's say things you can do. So one is you can basically do git add dot. So what this does is it uh, stages all the files, right? So we'll get to this in a bit. So right, okay, just a second. It stages all the files, right? And git any file name, right? And you can have 2 3 files name at once. File name stages particular files, right? So this is the basic intuition between the two. I'll just copy paste this over here for now so that I can just have this as Sujal phase 1, right? And yeah, now what I'll do is I'll add this file git add session 1.txt. I'll see the git status, right? It has been added. See, this file is now being tracked, right? And I can use git remove rm file name to unstage it, but that's for later. And also, right, this, it will be shown here as well, right? So I can basically perform this operation, right, over here itself. I can unstage it, I can stage it, I can unstage it, I can stage it. I can do this over here itself, right? And I can do the git commit over here, right? Let's say m phase one, right? Phase one, right? It has been committed now, if you see, and I can publish this branch now, but I won't be able to publish it since there is no remote. So hey guys, up till here, is this are you guys following along? Because I think it's getting a bit too much, everyone.
Can you explain that commit?
Sure. So what commit basically does is, can I just show you this entire branch in a bit? Because if you have a look over here, you'll have something like this. All right. So one tool I would recommend you guys to install is, just a second. I think I don't have installed this on my own laptop. Right. I have to install this extension. Just a second. I would recommend you guys to install this extension as well. It's called GitLens. Let me just install it. So what this does is it basically gives you an idea of, like, the entire tree. So let me just start to see where we can find it. Is it this one, or I don't want the workflow, I don't want this, I want this. Yeah. Okay, this doesn't look very pretty, I would say. Okay, I hope this turns out to be a bit prettier, but as of now, it's not looking that very good. Alright, so I think let's make some commits, okay, and then we'll see how. Okay, we'll see this over here, but this is not git length. This one we are supposed to get a bit prettier picture over here, right? So it would be a very good visualization, but I'm not sure if this was the correct. Just a second. Get version control. This one. Uh, mm, mm. All right, so no worries, we can figure this out in the GUI as well. All right, so this is just for visualization of how our uh, commit history looks. All right, so we have made our first commit, and I think the best thing to do right now is to publish it. Right, let's just publish it first. All right, so we have the code for this over here itself. Right, we have committed it. Now we go to we are in. We won't do this because we want to be in master branch for now. Now we'll add the remote origin, right? So okay, so what this remote origin does, okay, this is actually very interesting. So what this does is it connects our local system to the remote system. All right, so remote basically means this online, right? The internet, right? So if we see git remote -v, oh, that's weird. Oh, that's because there's nothing that's connected, right? There's no connection. That's why there's nothing being shown, right? But now if we add git remote add origin, right, and we do this, we'll see that, just a second. Okay, we'll see that for the fetch as well as the push, a remote origin has been set. Now we can push over here, we can, let's say, push our changes, and also we can download our changes from here. All right, so the next thing we'll be doing is we'll be git, let's just copy paste, we git push origin master,
Could
because
you
we are on.
explain once again the remote origin? Could you explain once again the remote origin?
Yeah, what part did you not get for remote origin?
Hello? Yes.
Yes, what part did you not get for Git origin?
Yeah, the two lines after remote dash e. After that, what it did, the
Okay, sure.
response.
So what this means is fetch basically means download, right? If you go over here and see this slide, right? So fetch basically means that we are downloading the data, right? The latest download, and push means we are uploading from our laptop to the platform. Got it? And for this, we need to set a remote origin. All right. What this line does is it connects our laptop to the remote. And what we are checking right now is what is our fetch and what is our push. So we have the liberty to have different let's say files that we can push to or pull from, right? And this helps us check. All right. So we can just alter this by saying git remote remove origin, just remove origin to get rid of like the uh, origin, the remote, right? But for now, we'll be doing this. So currently, we are just going very service layer, whatever you get, whatever you need to get started with TDS and collaboration. All right. So let's just push our
Sujal,
changes to master. Right. What push is doing is
Sir,
whatever.
can you zoom? Sir, can you zoom your screen little bit? It's
Sure.
very small letter.
Is it fine?
so Sujal,
Yeah.
yeah. So basically, it's like creating a bridge, right?
Yeah. It's basically a bridge. The remote is the that add origin is like, let's say, giving you the freedom, or not giving you the freedom. It's just connecting your laptop to the internet,
Uh-huh.
your local Git to GitHub.
So basically,
So
whatever changes you'll be doing in your system, it will get pushed to GitHub, basically,
yep,
right?
yep. So if I just refresh it, since if you see, this has been pushed, right? This was successful, right? So I can just control refresh and I'll see that session one is pushed, right? Now let's go over the interesting part, right? Now let's have some commits like, hey, Shamanta. So you were asking me about the commits, right? So let's say this is Carlton phase two, right? Now Carlton has made some changes. Let's say I'm Carlton and I have made some changes, right? He pulled this entire file from his system to his system and he has made some changes, right? Now what I can do is, okay, I can just minimize this, right? Or I can just since you have seen this use, I'll use the GUI now. And this, trust me, guys, it's very much time saving compared to this entire process. So this one is much more simpler. So if I add this, right, and if I click on this, I'll be able to see the changes that I have made, right? I can, and also if there's a lot of changes, I can go down, I can go up. Like I'll show you this when we go into the other phase, that is, let's say, logging and all of those, when we are actually writing code and not editing a text file, right? So this is helpful. And now I have added this. So this is basically git add. So just see how convenient it is, and I can just do it with just one um let's say button, right? I can see what I have added and I can see the changes, right? So I've added 2 lines of code, and now I can just say edited by Carlton, right? So this is git commit comment, right? But the thing is, why should I do this when I have, an AI to generate the commit message for me, right? So I think this is much more professional. Unless if you think this doesn't align with what you're thinking, then I think you should write it on your own. But I think this aligns with whatever I've written. So I'll just go ahead with this. And I have 2 options, right? I can commit and push, or I can just commit. Leave these 2 for now,
This
right? I'll just
this one
commit.
we are doing through the VS Code, right? VS Studio.
Yeah. So we are doing this through the ID. You'll find this in every ID. And in my personal experience, WebStorm was the best ID for Git, right? VS Code is good to get started, but if you have a good laptop, then WebStorm is the best product in terms of Git. All right, so I'll just commit it for now, right? And if you see, it's committed, right? There's nothing changes over here. It's committed, and if you see over here, right, the graph is here, and you can see it's committed, right? But the problem is not the problem, right? We haven't pushed it over here. So if you read this file, you will just see Sujal phase 1, unless we have pushed it. So it's saying that we have one commit to push, right? Now let's add one more file. Let's add something else. This is SHA Mantaz edit, right? This is phase 3, right? Now, okay, what are the things that I will do for pushing this? Any idea, guys? These two approaches that I've showed you, you can pick any.
Commit and push.
Commit and push.
Stage, right? First is stage. Always stage it. Second is you have to see the changes that you have made. Okay, one more tip, right? See, everyone over
Just
here.
one thing, Sujal.
Yeah.
Sujal, one thing. Like when we say stage it, like what exactly are we saying staging?
So over here, if we go to the slides, right? Do I have it in my slides? Yeah. So there's a 3 stages of Git, right? The first is the kitchen, right? This is a good example for Git workflow. So we have a lot of things that we cook in the kitchen, right? And
Mm-hmm.
there's some things, right? Like these roots and all of these don't matter. What matters to us is the food and not the root, right? Let's say we want to cook chicken, but we don't want to, like, have the bones and all of that. So we'll strip that off, right? So this is where we code, and it's very, very messy. There's a lot of things that happen over here, right? But whenever we stage it, we try to keep it clean, right?
Okay.
Right? We don't want it to be touched once we have, let's say, stored it in a box. It's like storing it in a box, but we can take it out of the box anytime. We can add it into the box anytime. So I can just, if I'm not satisfied with the changes, I can just take it out of the box, edit it, right? Edit it over here, put it in. I can see the changes. If I'm not satisfied, I can bring it back, reverse the changes, and then again
Okay.
put it back into the box, right?
Got it.
This is how it's choosing to get saved. Now, when it comes to commit, it's like it's like, let's say, a commitment.
Permanent.
It's like a commitment. It's
Permanent.
like permanently saved, right? If you see over here, right? Over here, I had made some edit saying Shamantas and some random letters, but that won't be seen anywhere, right? Once I commit this, let me just commit it, right? You will be seeing the new text, but you won't be seeing the changes that I did in, after staging and staging to over here. So are you understanding the difference between the, not difference, but the fundamentals of this in this example?
Yeah, understood. Understood. Got
Is it clear for everyone? Because this rightly is very important. All right. So now we have this,
All right, sir.
and we have this, let's say, very beautiful graph over here, right? But now we have 2 commits, right? Let's add one more commit. I think that's better. Let's add one more commit. Okay, I don't want that. Let's just add, let's say this is Sujal. Yes, Carlton?
So just wanted to clarify something for the students
Yes.
who are new to Git. So if you think of the files you work with in a normal project, there are many files that you don't want to actually track. So a good example of that is if you've used Python and you've used virtual environments, you'll know that there will be a virtual environment folder. Now, ideally, you don't want to track all those files because that's not part of your code really. But you want to track or save versions of the file where you're actually working on, the code that you're actually working on. So staging tells Git which files you want to actually track. So that's what staging does. And so that's the reason you stage and you tell which objects you want to stage. And as long as you've told Git which ones you want to stage, then those are the ones it will only commit. So that's the reason we use it. I hope that gives a bit of clarity to why you use staging. It chooses between the things you want to track versus the things you don't want to track. Yeah, Yogesh.
Uh, I just wanted to ask, once I have staged the file and later if I have modified it, so next time when I commit, the modification will be automatically pushed on pushing?
Staging will tells that those are the files you want to track. So it will, any changes you do to a staged file will automatically be continued to be tracked. So that's what
Thank you.
staging typically does. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Sujal. Is that's typically the workflow, right?
Yeah, you're correct. You're
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. So staging
think
is basically like putting a flag saying track these files.
I think that will give error if you commit. If
If
you
you
change
commit
the state,
immediately.
if you change the file, then that will give error.
Yeah, it will
I'm not
flag it
sure.
for you. It will flag it for you, right? Saying that there are some changes made after staging.
Yeah,
We
right.
can try it now. Let's try it
Yeah.
in a live demo.
So this one is, I think this is, no, so this is Sujal's. So what was the thing that we are testing out? Could you just guide me a bit as to what were the steps for this error that we want to, let's say, take out?
Just add the file and change and then commit without adding again.
So add it. It's staged. Next is,
Next is commit.
okay. Next is committed. Okay. So has unsaved changes.
Yeah, so this
Oh,
is
yeah.
the
If we
warning
don't
we are
save it,
getting.
yeah. If we don't save it, yeah. Okay. So this is what you meant. Okay. Got it. So without saving, if we do it, then it's throwing this, let's say, window that asks us if you're sure or not, right?
Uh,
If we just
I
save it,
mean,
then
from personal experience, the staging allow us, as Carlton sir has said, you don't want to track VNV. Suppose you have a single command commit and you accidentally commit it, then going back is a difficult task. But if you stage, then you can see what are the file that you are going to commit. You can go back immediately if you have done some mistake. So, as a practical perspective, git add or staging before doing commit is a way to keep assured that what are the files we are going to commit. So it is just like when you delete some file, it asks for you, are you confirmed to delete or not? So for me as a developer, staging is a confirmation area.
It's like a preview actually.
so all of the things mentioned by Carlton and Vitik, right? They are correct. And if you look at this, right? If I just get rid of this and see the changes currently, right? So in the latest commit, we have just Sujal, but in the new addition, right? In the new change, we have Sujal again, phase 4. And if you see in the state changes, when you just without this, you won't be able to see the changes, right? But with this, you will be able to see once you, let's say, uh, keep it over here, you will not be able to edit this at all, right? So it's over here and it's tracked. So before committing this, you can see the changes that you have made as well. So let's say it's like a tool that I would suggest the more you play around, the more you understand why it is important, right? So for now, I think having the idea that yeah, it helps you keep track of files which are important and prereq before committing is enough. And also, why is it very important? Is because just a second, Yogesh, let me finish, okay? Just a second. So why is it very important? Is because um nowadays, whether we agree it or not, everyone is using Copilot, Cursor, and all of these tools, right? Be it GPT, be it Cloud Code, everyone in every organization is using it, right? What's the problem that happens if we don't, let's say, preview it very well? Is that sometimes the AI tends to mess up, you know, be it with the logic, be it with the entire product, right? Even if you have, let's say, um, fixed a bug or pushed a feature, there might be edge cases that are waiting to be handled, right? This feature allows you to see where the AI has made changes. So over here, if you see, right, once I've staged it, I can see that there is one change that has been done by me, right? So I can see it, and if I want to, I can edit it, right? I think in WebStorm you can edit it over here itself, but over here I cannot edit it once it's staged. I think in WebStorm that feature is there, right? So if you are like, let's say, using any sort of tool, or any if you're building any sort of application, my suggestion is to have Git in your workflow from the very start. If you have done mad 1 mad 2 projects, I think those phases over there are like brilliantly divided so that the student is able to understand the Git as well while developing the application. So yeah, Yogesh, please go ahead with your question. Hey Yogesh, you can go ahead with your question. I'm not able to hear you if you're speaking.
Perhaps it was wrongly. I have raised hand. I don't know what has happened.
It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Para Sudam, please go ahead.
Yeah, sir, actually, say example you just mentioned, if in the one file I have done the 4 line changes, okay, but I need to add only 3 lines. One line I don't need to add, but that line I may need to keep it for my local reference. How do I do it, sir?
You wanted to keep a local reference, so you can stash it. So there is this feature that allows you to stash. I think it's over here. Yeah. So I can just stash it. So just look into this. I don't want to get with this stashing thing right now, but you can stash it, right? Just
Understand.
look into this feature, because if I get started with it, it'll like turn into something really long. So Git
Understood.
stashing is something you can do, and it is actually something that you asked, which is very like, let's say, relevant in terms of organization, of how organizations use GitHub, right? So stashing is how you go about it. All right, so let's just commit this change, and let's see if and publish it as well. All right, we're pushing it. All right, so it's pushed. Now we'll go back to this page, and we'll see that all of these things are here at once after we pushed it, right? Now we'll just see the tree. Okay, so oh yeah, we go over here actually, yeah. So these 5 commits, right? We can see each commit over here. Now, isn't this similar to what is happening over here? Commit 1, commit 2, commit 3, right? We are
It's like a
committing.
history of versions, right?
It's like a history. I can just go to the second commit, and I can see what was the commit, right? I can see whatever was committed, right? Sorry for that. I can go to the third commit, and I can see whatever was committed. And also, right, I can see the timestamp, and also this uh, SHA code, right? So, you never know. I think last term that this was very important for the students to submit for their evaluations for the project, right? So let's say I have given you a deadline now, let's say 10 p.m. to submit your code, right? We can just You can just pull this commit and give it to me, and I can just see the time. Everything is with this associated with this itself, right? So you see what problem Git is solving, right? Are you guys able to understand this?
Sujal, could you open that commit
Can
part
you
again?
repeat
Git.
whatever you said?
Sure, sure. Yeah,
One,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Go ahead.
one thing I want to highlight everyone. The SASM is different from this commit SA. So in previous term, we asked for commit SA, and some students have submitted their SASM, SA 256 sum. So note the difference. This we generally call commit SA. Okay, and this is generated by Git internally. It is not the SASM that we create
Hey,
from.
Hrithik, could you just annotate on my screen? I think that's better for students because it might be confusing for them to understand between the two. So just annotate if that's possible for you. Is it possible for you to annotate?
Uh, I don't think right now. I am from phone,
Uh,
so maybe that is the reason.
okay. Just okay. So we are on this right now. So go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah. So this is a short commit sa. The full commit sa is can be taken from that copy. So please note that part. Okay. So this is commit sa. Sujal, could you copy and paste it to show it
Yep.
to student?
Yep. So this is B1 3D, right? So this is the SHA and the entire thing, right? The SHA sum. Hey, Ritik, this is what you meant, right?
Yeah, means we call
Yeah.
this as a commit sa. I want to highlight that some student what they do, no, they copy their created file. They created a commits. Sorry, they created sasam of that file. That is different than this commit sa. So we call it commit sa, right?
So I hope you guys understood the difference between the two and where is it important basically in TDS, right? So not just in TDS, but if you participate in hackathons and all of that, these competitions, wherever there's deadlines, right? When you go to an organization and start contributing, it won't be that relevant to you, I'd say, right? It will be relevant when it comes to going to a particular commit and pulling out stuff from them, right? But right now for TDS, just know where it's important for the current use case. As you move along, you'll evolve and let's say translate these skills to organization level projects. All right. So this is one thing that we can do with all of these things, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, right? If we have time, we can go into branches.
So sorry everyone, accidentally Sujal has closed their screen sharing tab. So
Yeah,
he will
sorry.
join back.
No, I sorry. I'm just close the entire meet. I'm so sorry for that. Okay, so hope you guys can see my screen, right? So now we have covered these. I'll just give a brief, like short. Yeah, Yogesh. Yeah, I'm here.
Sir, actually, I want to know what is actually SHA mean. SHA means what is SHA sum? Can you explain me, sir?
So let's say you have an Aadhaar card, right? Hey.
Sir, please.
That you have an Aadhaar card, right? So it's basically an ID for you, right? That makes you, let's say, stand out from the others. That's unique to you, right? Similarly, every commit needs to have its own ID so that we can pinpoint it, right? So that's why we have all of these IDs for that. Got it?
No, actually, I want to know what is SHA stand for. What is the full form of SHA?
Okay, I am so no, I'm not sure. I don't remember the full form of SHA. Let me just GPT-8 full form of SHA. It's 256, right? So it's usually SHA-256, and this is stored in secure hash algorithm. So is this clear now? I think this answer is fine. And also you'll be using this for like let's say if you have to log in and all of that, right? So it's for public keys, for private keys. If you're let's say creating an account in sorry, GitHub as well, right? You'll be using this. So this is basically let's say a key that you can use in terms of let's say while logging in or logging out, and over here right now it's just a hash function to see which your commit is. All right.
Actually, it is a unique code, no, sir?
Yeah, you can say that, right? But mostly it's used for let's say just a second. Just want to give you the point where you can go and see what it can do, right? So what the main use case of it is. So if you see this,
Unicode is 64
oh,
bit, and this is 256 bit.
yeah.
So
I can.
higher level of security is there.
Okay,
That's why a special purpose for this security of the integrity of the data and digital signature like that. For that algorithm, more bits are required, additional bits. I think so.
yeah. I'm also not sure about that. If Carlton or Ritik has any, let's say, knowledge on this, explanation on this, then please.
Yeah, so it's a mathematical concept. So a SHA or a hashing algorithm, the idea behind it is any piece of code that you write has some uniqueness to it, right? And one way to store something unique is you just copy it. That's unique to itself. Okay, fine. But the problem is that's very inefficient in terms of storing data, right? Because you don't want to store the whole thing just to prove it's unique. So, for example, if I've got one file over here that's got some data on it, I don't want to store the whole file as a representation of it. That's just wasteful of memory, right? So we need some unique representation for it. Now, if I had only 2 bits of memory and I say I want to store 4 files and represent them uniquely, then each of those bits, right, there would be 1 0 or 1 1 or 0 0. I could represent 4 files with just these 2 bits. Okay, so it would be like an ID for those 4 files. But the problem is if I have a 5th file, now what do I do? So hashing algorithm, basically what they do is they try to create a unique signature for each file with as little space as possible. So you could represent for argument's sake, a 1 GB file, but with 256 bits rather than using half a gigabyte or something. So hashing algorithms basically identify each file or whatever you want to store with a unique code. But there is a problem. Generally, the more things you start to store in a hashing algorithm, then there are chances of what are called collisions. But this is again a mathematical concept. So collisions happen when 2 files are given the exact same SHA or same code, I should say. So the way to avoid collisions, there are 2 ways. There are some algorithms that help you avoid collisions, because remember, they are randomly assigned. That's the important part. Because if they're not randomly assigned, then you can predict a unique code if there is some pattern to it. So the important thing is it has to be random. Secondly is, as the number of items you want to represent in a particular space increases, the chance of collisions become high. And so the next way to escape that, apart from using some special clever techniques, is to increase the space. So instead of a SHA being 16-bit, if you make it 32-bit, now suddenly you've got 2 raised to the power 32 combinations. You make it 256, you have 2 raised to the power 256 combinations. So that's the basic understanding behind hashing algorithms. There is a course that we teach in data science, and I think it's in the programming part in PDSA, where they talk about hashing algorithms. And I think even in DBMS, there is some, a little bit they teach about hashing algorithms. But I think it's primarily PDSA that teaches hashing algorithms.
It's taught in both, but we use it in system commands the most.
Right. Yeah. But for your understanding, the simplest thing to understand about it is that it's a unique representation of some object. Okay. And in this case, the object is what you have committed to GitHub. And typically, these hashing algorithms, it's very, very rare that 2 people will get the exact same unique code. But it can happen. It's not that it cannot happen. It can. But it's so rare so as to almost be impossible is the idea behind it.
Yeah, Ritik.
One more thing, size algorithm, as already sir has told, Git by default uses SHA-1 algorithm, not SHA-256. Second point is, currently Git is running from 2 version, and it supports SHA-256, but you have to explicitly tell while doing Git init. When Git version will be from 3.0, so from that version, the default commit SHA will be SHA-256. So SHA-1 has lot of collision, and that is why SHA-256 comes into the picture, and that will be default from Git 3 version. But for now, Git uses SHA-1 commit SHA by default.
Yeah, and just to clarify, SHA-1 doesn't mean it's 1 bit, okay? It's actually 160 bits, but for some reason they decided to call it SHA-1. So just something to, you've got a quiz you want to impress your friends with, and that's what it would be. But yeah, thanks, Ritik. That's a very good information that you give. Thanks.
Yeah, Yogesh. Go ahead. What's it up?
The SHA is all about the number of bits exactly. How many addresses it can be created by combination of that. Is it so? No?
Yeah, it's not just the bits. It's an algorithm that assigns a unique code to any object you want it to represent. So that's what it is. Yeah.
By the combination of that bits.
Yes, some random combination. That's also important. The randomness is important. Yeah. It should not be predictable.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah, Yogesh, Kaushik, you have your hands raised.
So you have done the code using VS Code. So similarly, we can do with the Git bash also, no? Or not?
So you mean committing, right? You mean
Yes.
terminal based, right? Yeah, we can do that. We can like right now I'm using an Ubuntu based system. I can do it in PowerShell as well. So yeah, that's possible.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So moving on, right? I'll just show you guys some types of files, right? So files are just containers, all right, and I guess I'll just show you guys what CSV, JSON, and PNG are. I think I just have all of these examples in GPT because I think that's much more convenient to see what it is, right? So let's just open GPT now and example of a JSON, CSV. PNG. So PNG, you need to remember is an image, all right? So I'll call.
Sujal, just after you finish this showing the files bit, we'll take a 5-minute break, okay? And then we will resume.
Sure. Just a second. Let me decide when we can take a break. Just 1 second. Yeah. This is fine. I'll be starting with a different, completely different thing over here. So PNG and yeah, Markdown. So Markdown file when it comes to formats. Right. So this is how a JSON file looks. I assume that you must have like let's say some idea behind this. All right. So I'm not going deep into it. Deep into this much. So this is a JSON file, right? This is okay. So I'll just copy paste this into the ID. So just come over here and let's just have this Sujal.json. Sorry for that. .json, right? And then we have the CSV, right? So CSV is like stored in tabular format, like Excel is. All right. So This thing you can export it to Excel and Google Sheets, right? This is much more easier for that. And so this is how, let's say, a PNG, right? So this is the image that you see, but this thing, right, in the back end, the computer reads it like this, right, in binary format. So this is the way it's stored, and this is the thing that we see, right? So that's what you need to know for now. And this is Markdown. So Markdown is basically readable text with formatting. So you have like this tool called Markdown Viewer, which is like a very convenient way of uh, viewing Markdown. So if you see this, right, it seems like these expressions, these all of these, right? When you have this over here, right? Okay, so this is an example of Markdown itself, right? So yeah, just do this, and yeah, we can see this is how a Markdown looks when it's rendered in a Markdown format, right? So these are the basic file formats that you need to know. I think we are good to take a break, Carlton. Let me just have a look. Um, yeah, we are good to have a break. Just want to make sure, right? These are things that you will get along, right? Will it's very easy to understand this. But what I want to make sure is, are you is there a bit of, let's say, confidence in you guys now to, let's say, initialize a repository, stage your files, commit them, and also publish them? Was that part clear or not? If you have any questions, please bring them up now, because moving on, we'll be working on a bit of code part. All right. So it's 9:05 now. Can we start the break, Carlton? I don't think anyone has any questions. Let's get back
Yeah,
to
okay.
India. Yeah.
So there'll be a timer in the top, I guess, right hand corner of your screens. So you'll know when we'll come back.
Okay, sir. Thank you. We'll come back.
Hey guys, just a second. So let's get started. One thing I forgot to cover in the earlier part was the branch, right? So by industry standards right now, we by default use the main branch instead of the master branch. The only difference is the name, right? You can name it almost anything, right? So if you go into your profile, into your settings, and into the repo, you will have the option to update this over here itself. All right, and then whenever you're creating a branch, it will have the main branch by default, right? But right now we already have the branch that is set to master by default. So from here onwards, I'll be teaching you. You can rename this branch. The command is very simple. Right? The command is basically git branch and master to main. So what this does is it goes into the branch and it changes the branch name from master to main. But we'll be doing something else. We'll be checking out to a different branch now. All right. So let's get started with this. All right. So before that, what we are going to discuss. Okay, we are going to be doing that. But before that, what we are going to be discussing is the difference between tools and languages, and when we should choose what. All right. So I have picked three tools for now, right? That is Git, not Git, sorry. That is Bash, Python, and Excel, right? So to give like a real life example for this, right? Bash. One time I was working on a project, right? And in that I had to like let's say have a pre-processing layer for this, and that was mainly for this integration of an API called Iconify. Well, the requirement was I'll just show you. Just a second. Browse icons, material symbols. If you see, there's a lot of icons over here, right? And every icon has its own SVG tag, right? All right. So what I had to do was I had to pre-process the SVG tag based on its let's say every collection has a set, right? A predefined what do you call it format, and this format needs to be processed, right? So for detecting the format, what I used was Bash, right? I used grep basically, right? Why? Because it was much more faster than Python. But I used Python for processing this entire file, right? This entire SVG to render it using the library was Cairo SVG to render it, right? And once that was done, to see how many clients are using what icon, right? Clicking on it, everything was being visualized using Excel. So you can see that Python could do all of it, right? But Python wasn't, like let's say fast at it. It wasn't the best at everything. It was good for everything, but not the best at it. So obviously, I had chosen grep for like let's say figuring out what type of SVG file it is, Python to process the type of SVG file that was, and Excel to visualize how many clients are using what type of SVGs. right? So this is the difference that you between tools and languages and how you should be using it. And there's a lot of tools that you can use, and languages. There's only a few, I would say, currently. That's Python and JavaScript that is like very relevant in TDS. But as time goes on and as like skills evolve, there will be more to come. And yeah, once this is done,
So,
we can do that.
Sujal,
Yes.
Sujal, like you said, like Python helped you in rendering. So rendering as in like what? Like processing the image or
Yeah. So basically, we have this, right? This is
you have the code correct.
just text. This is just
But
text, right?
correct.
I cannot just have print and colon this. But if I use the library called Python Cairo SVG, what I can do is I can edit this file, right? If I want to edit this, right, I can make changes in this, right? These path and all of this. I can change the color of this, right? If you see, I
Okay.
can change the color of this,
You
right?
can
And then
alter the image, right?
yeah, I can alter the image. So that's what Python Cairo helps you with, right? This is obviously impossible, almost impossible in Excel, and in Bash it's very difficult,
Okay.
right? So Python is much more simpler in this case. So obviously I could do the entire thing with Python, but obviously it's not the best.
So basically, the one which you showed right now, that drawing, right? Bash, Python. So it's kind of a pipeline, right? Sorry to.
It's not a pipeline. It's not a pipeline. It's not a pipeline. It's just basically saying that different jobs need different leverage. That's it. So a good example of this is, let's say you have a Chinese wok at home, right? Chinese wok, a frying pan, right? You can basically cook everything in it. Is that true or not? You can boil rice in it. You can make rotis, chapatis in it. You can also cook all sorts of vegetables and dishes in it. But would you rather choose a frying pan for a roti or
Obviously,
a
different things for different
wok,
different
right?
applications, right?
Yes, exactly.
He
Is
meant to
this
say it is all the each of business kind of thing. The Python can do most of the thing, but not all the things. You meant to
no?
say,
Python
right?
can do all the things.
All the
Don't
things.
like right now we are assuming that Python can do all the things, right?
कैसा
But
है?
but there are certain tools that are better than Python at some things. Python is a general tool that can solve most problems, but there are other tools that can help solve us problems better. That's what I'm trying to say. See, Python is good at everything, but it requires setup. Just ignore the setup part for now,
So we
right?
would like to know कि what are the things that makes another process or another language more better than Python? What are that things?
So in data science, typically you will end up using very large data sets for things. Okay. One example that I can tell you where Bash is 1,000 times better than Python is when you want to modify a very, very large set of files very rapidly. So using tools like grep, awk, sed, Bash will execute maybe 1,000 times faster than Python. That's how rapid Bash will be. So if you have millions of files that need manipulation, Bash will just hands down beat Python. And whereas Python, like he's written, it's good at everything. Actually, it's more accurate to say it's not a master of anything. It's there's a phrase, right? What is it called? It says
Jack of all trades.
Jack
Jack
of
of
all
all
trades.
trades.
jack of all trades. Yeah, that's the phrase. Thanks.
Jack,
So it's the
Jack,
jack of all trades. It
Jack.
can, yeah, you can eventually do everything you want to do, but couple of things. He's written the requires setup. What he actually means by that is, you can create a spreadsheet in Python, but it may take a long time to put it together, right? Whereas when you have Excel, you already have the spreadsheet. Use it directly. Why not? So there are some things that work faster,
Okay,
depending on what your use case is.
got that thing. Got that.
Example
That
Excel.
designed for that. That is designed for that.
So
Correct.
over here,
Exactly.
for example, over here in Excel, what I mean by require setup is we have to install a different library for this. Just to, let's say, visualize this, or let's say, process this. if you have worked with, like, let's say, Google Sheets, if you're importing a file, you'll need to install a file that allows you to a library that allows you to use the .xlsx file. Correct me if I'm wrong, Carlton.
Got it. Got it. Just like in the simple calculator, we do the calculations, simple calculations. If you do what the mathematical calculation scientific, then you switch over the another thing that is designed for that. Is it so? No?
Yeah,
Like that.
let's say, for example, if you want to do mathematical calculations in Python, you can do it, but
Mm.
you need an import math, right? You
Correct.
need to
Got it.
import it.
Library is required for that particular, right?
Yep. You need to have a setup.
Mm.
So
Got it.
that's it.
Please
All right.
proceed. Got it. Got that.
Now, what we are getting to is a bit more important part, right? So we will be putting this into code as well. All right. So I think once we have the code, I think it's much more better to understand. I already have the code with me. We were on break, right? So let me just uh, copy up till here. Copy this. All right. So let me just open my terminal, clear this. So currently we are on branch master. Okay. So now we'll create a new branch, that is get checkout b mean. All right. So we'll have a new branch, that's main, right? Now if we see the branch, we are on main and there is master as well. Now what does checkout b do is it makes a new branch. That's it. All right. If we want to go back to the master branch, we can just do it very easily. Get checkout master and we will be in master branch. Got it?
Sir,
So
sir, one question here. Say,
yeah,
just when you are doing minus b, will it contain the from master? It will create the
yeah,
same data.
we are branching out from master. Yes,
Okay, 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 sir.
yeah, we are branching out from master. That's it, right? So now we have these three files, but let's see what are actually staged, right? We can just have get status and see this. So currently only this is over there, right, up there in the remote, but these are untracked, right? Now for what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a new app.py. I'm going to paste this. We'll see in a bit, all right, what this entire script is about. But before that, let's create a virtual environment. All right. Now this is what I mean by requiring setup. All right. See, I have to create a virtual environment now. So Python 3, uh, BNB. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just creating a virtual environment. I'll be needing to activate it. Then activate. Once it's activated, I need to, let's say I'll go over here, and from here on, I'll start my editing. Just a second. I need to see if I'm in the right terminal. Get status. Right. I'm on branch main. Yeah. So you can see these are the three files that have been not tracked yet. Right. So if you just see this file, right, I'll just explain every line of code. So this is the logging setup. I'll tell you what logger does in a bit. This is just initializing logger. Okay. We're initializing the FastAPI application over here, and we are importing the API key. So if you see right now, the API key hasn't been imported yet. So we'll have the .env file for this, and this is our secret. All right. If you just see over here in my slides, you can see that there is a secret. Yeah. So what secrets do? I'll just show you in a bit. All right. So right now I'll just store it in the env file, and then just copy paste API. What's the name of the key? API key. Yeah. And I want to create this API key. API key is equals to let's say secret, or let's have Ritik 1 2 3, right? So let's just have this. Okay, I don't need this much, right? So this is the API key for my, let's say this is my secret API key. All right. Now I want to import this. Is it imported? No, it's not imported yet. Let me just let's install the requirements. If hey guys, if anyone is doesn't get any part, please feel free to raise your hands. Okay, I might be going a bit too fast, is what I feel. If any part is unclear, please raise your hands. All right. So right now, what we'll do is we'll just install the basic requirements. That is first API, Pydantic. I guess UVCon is there down. I might need UVCon, and I will be needing .env. Yeah, the script is needs a bit of modification. Okay, what's oh, I haven't activated it. Sorry for that. Source env, then activate, install. Now it should work. Yeah. Now let's just import the .env. Oh no, it's not this. From .env import load env. I will be importing this. Now it should work. Yeah. So this is basically the Pydantic model for the request. We are passing this, right? I'll just show you in a bit. And let me just send the post request and then show it to you. So copy the post request.
What is this exactly doing?
Just a second, I'll explain to you. I will explain to you. Just a second. Give me some time. Okay. So just a bit. I'll start on the application. Yeah. Yes. Sudhir.
Sir, a few things you are importing in terminal and few in app. So
Yeah.
could you please explain that?
Okay. So in terminal, I'm installing actually. I'm installing this requirements. Got it? Without this, I won't
Okay,
be able
okay.
to
Got
import
it, got
it.
it.
Got
And
it?
there you are importing, right? Okay.
Yes. Yes. So I'll just do this. Right now, I'll run this application. Once I run it, I'll start explaining to you. Okay, just a second.
Sir, this installation required only once in machine.
Uh, if you're doing it without a virtual environment, then you have to it's once. But in a virtual environment, every time you
Okay.
initialize a new one, you'll have to install it every time. All right.
If we are doing in this
Yeah. So
Ubuntu, then it's only once or?
no, it's not once. For this virtual environment, it'll be once. It'll be installed over here. Okay, inside this. This is the file which
And
where everything is getting installed in.
if
Got it?
we are doing with the WSL?
Even in that, it's basically I'm using
Every time
Ubuntu,
with it.
right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
you'll have to do it. Got it? It's a virtual environment. Just think of it.
Yes, yes, thanks.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So okay, right now I'm using curl request, right? So the way we can use post as well, right? But I'll be using the curl command. Okay, I think it's better to explain the first time using post. Just a second. Postman. Do I have Postman with me? Yeah, I do. I just have a new request. All right. So what I'm basically trying to I just need to sign in first. Just give me a hold on. I'll just start with Postman and then I'll move to call. I think that's a better idea to go with. Yeah, I'm signed in. Great. All right. So in the very beginning, I mentioned, right, whenever we are using GPT, whenever we make a request, right? Let's say I say hi, right? These are not requests actually, right? Let's say these conversation, right? This conversation is a post request. See, it's a post request that's being hit in the backend, right? It's being hit in the backend API F convert station, right? So this is the URL for it, backend API, right? This is the backend API for it, right? You can this is the URL and this is the endpoint, right? Backend API slash F slash conversation, right? In our case, our endpoint is greet, right? This is our URL, but this is our API endpoint, greet. If you see our code, right, this is our endpoint. And what our endpoint is doing, it is taking the user request. Okay, I'll just have the user request over here. Post / greet, right? And the okay, and I'll be sending in body. I'll go to raw. I'll go to JSON. All right, and from here I'll be sending two files, that is name and client. Okay, client key is basically your secret API key, right? So name is let's say Raghav, and let's say client key, right? Client key. Why are we using these names? Is because we have mentioned that this is what our request model should look like, and that's how we expect a request to come as. All right, client key is basically okay. So okay, just a second. If I just have a random set of numbers 1 to 3, and if I send the post request, I will get a 401 authorized, and I can see a info received request to greet endpoint and warning invalid API key attempt, right? These are called logs. And why are we seeing them? Because we have set them over here. See, the API, right? When we made the post request, it came up till this endpoint. It got into the function. It had received request to get endpoint, right? But the problem was the client key wasn't matching with our API key. The API key in our case is Ritik123, and because of that, it threw an error, and it it threw a logger warning, and it raised an error. The status code 401 and the detailed invalid API key, as you can see over here. Up till this part, is the code clear or not? Just the code that was written. Why and what is happening? Please, everyone.
Sujal, I
Any
have
question?
a question. Yeah.
Yes,
So
please go
what?
ahead.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to understand what is the purpose of the code that we are writing here.
Purpose of the code that we are writing, it's basically to show you what logger was the difference between logger output and error. Basically this, and also a bit of this as we go along. Got it? So right now what we got was the logs and the errors. This is the error, right? Now what happens if I put the right API key? Sorry, I should not have closed that. Okay, now that was Postman. I'll be showing you in terminal. All right. So this again is an example of tool, right? That was Postman. This is Postman, right? But personally, I like using curl. Why? Simply to put it out, I'm a bit lazy with this, right? Because in Postman I have to click a lot of buttons, right? But over here what I can do is since we have the access to Copilot, even with a very low performing model, even with a very cheap model, it tends to give it tends to be very accurate with curl request, because it is let's say very simple, right? I can just automate this entire process of sending post requests using Copilot and Bash, right? So I prefer using this. It's entirely up to you, right? But I'll be using this, and if anyone has any problem or any doubt, please raise your hands. All right. So I'll just send the same curl request, right? What we had earlier was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll send it, and again over here I'll just get this. Okay,
Can
okay, okay.
sir,
Just a
sir,
second.
sir,
Sorry.
can you explain the whole things in the Linux whole thing, whole
Okay, okay.
code part?
So
Yeah.
okay,
Which
so
line is doing which for what
yes,
which
sure,
things?
sure, 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 sure. So basically, post, right?
Sir,
Post.
actually, is your voice is breaking.
Oh, is it?
No, sir. No,
No,
Sometime.
it's clear.
voice is clear, sir.
Oh, is it? All right. So whoever made that request, I am a bit sorry for now, right? Or right now I can just
It will be
I'll
better.
just
Please,
explain
yeah, explain
let's
this
say tip
curl
of the.
commands, how it is
I'll
working.
just explain the tip. All right,
Yeah.
because I want you to explore what's the thing. Okay. So right now I'll just explain you the tip. So post basically is the equivalent of this, right? this extension, this over here, this URL is basically something that you paste it over here, right? And body, if you go to raw and if you go to JSON, you'll have the application, this format, right? Application slash JSON. We are using that format, and over
Minus
here,
H is for some hyphen S. H is
yes,
for, yeah.
yeah, this one.
We have
So
to
let's
explain
say,
which data we are giving actually.
let me just break it down because I might not remember the exact words. So I think that's better to have instead of being incorrect, let's take a time to prompt and explain each command. So I'll just share you the chat. All right. So you guys can have a look at it. I want to move forward with this. All right. Let me just share this chat with you. Because if you see it's going very long, I want to just share this with you. Have a look for whoever is interested. Right. Now, if you see over here, the reason why logging is important is because if I just send the invalid request, right, it will tell me invalid API key. Now, let's say this is just an example of an API key. Let's say I have the right API key, right? Ritik 123. I'll be getting hello Alice, right? Why? Because my application, right, it is matching, and now it is telling me the name of the user, greeting user, data.name Alice, and also it is returning the output, that is return message inside the string, right? Now what I can do is I can experiment a bit again, right? Instead of just having these three variables, I can have, let's say, just a second. Okay, over here it threw an error because I had a comma and that was invalid JSON, right? I can have, let's say, age, right? Age is, let's say, 19 or 15, right? It will still work because we are using Pydantic because of this, right? But if we want to render age, right, it won't work. Let's say age. Age.
What is Pydantic?
Pydantic is basically it helps you validate the the base models. So sorry, models. So what this helps you with is, let's say, if you have a certain format that you want your request to be in, right? You can just pass this. You can just pass user request over here, right? I don't have to edit this over and over again. I can just edit it over here. Let's say age is integer, and for getting this entire thing, right? Age, right? So I can. Oh, the reason why I did not throw an error is because I did not restart the server, right? And if I, let's say, have age data.age, right, and I restart the server, and then I send the same request again, see, I will have age 15 because I had it over here. But now let's see
Sir,
what
here
happens.
data dot name or data dot age. Where is the data actually? Data is referring to what?
Data is
Where?
over here. We are going from user request, right? We are defining data as user
Okay,
request.
okay, user. Okay,
Got
okay,
it? And
thanks.
data dot age. Got it? Is this clear? This was all about logging. Is this clear? Okay. Now I can add one more logging over here, right? If age data dot age is greater than 18, right? Logger.info is an adult, else is a minor, right? I can restart the server, and now let's say I have this, and also I can just change the names over here. I can have Rajiv, and age is there. Okay, just a second. Yeah. So you can see, greetings Rajiv. User Rajiv is a minor. Why? Because the age was lesser than 18. Right now, what happens if I have an age greater than 18? You can see that Rajiv is an adult. So all of this information is stored over here. Got it? And if I don't have any age, right? It says missing. because we strictly want it in this format. Is this clear, guys? Everyone, is this clear? Were you able to follow along or not?
Last bit that we strictly want, and is it possible that there's some format where we, if some extra information came, then also the web service work, the API
Okay,
work?
so one could be description, right? Description, and we can just set it to optional. STR optional, I guess, is the optional. Yeah. And, oh,
Okay,
I think
okay.
this was the format. I don't think this was the just a second. Optional field, right? So we can just have none. It can be none by default, right? So even
Okay,
if,
got it.
okay, let me just start the server again, and let me send the request again. Just a second. So now this one with the age, right? I'll still be getting it. Got it? Even though I don't
Got
have the nickname. Got it?
it.
Yeah.
So, Sujal, so what was something that you used something Postman, right? What was that exactly?
Postman. So, like I said, right? When I am using, let's say, any product, right? There is a backend service attached to it. Like if I have my own, let's say, TDS virtual. Just a second, TDS. Just a second. What was the name of that? TDS. Okay, I don't remember the name of that, but for example, just this API. Let me just search it up then. Just 1 second. It's a project that was once the project one for TDS. And let me just see the front end for it so I can display to you guys more efficiently. Okay, why is it not? Okay. We have it over here. Yeah, this is the one. Right. So if you see this project, right, this is the project that I created for TDS project one. It's a chatbot, and this is the backend server for it. All right, this is the backend server for it. When I make currently it's booting up because backend the render sleeps and it takes time to boot up, right? But when I send a request to it, this is the endpoint that gets hit. This endpoint right here. All right. And in our case, right, you can see this server is booting up. This is the get request, not the post one actually. The post happens when we send it from here. To answer your question, I can make this request just using Postman or curl, right? I do not have to, like, let's say, type it over here in the front end. I can just use the backend. I can just use curl and get the answer or a question, right? But why do we need front end is because it's UI. The UI is much more simpler. All right, now see the backend is connected. Let's say what is an LLM, right? If I question it, it will go into the ask endpoint. Okay, it's going to the query endpoint, and yeah, it's able to answer it. Right? If you see the payload, the question is there, right? And if you see the response, right, you'll be able to see the JSON format for it, right? This is the backend structure for this question. What is an LLM? Got it?
This is like a small chatbot, or?
Yeah, it's a chatbot. It's a RAG application. So are you seeing this payload in our cases? In this case, our payload is this much. Got it?
So payload is basically the answer, right?
No. Payload is what we are providing. What we are
The
sending to
input.
the server. The server, yes.
The input.
Yes,
Okay.
this is the input, right? And this is the URL. Got it? Where are we sending it? We are sending it to this backend.
What is dash X is doing here?
Sorry?
Dash X in the
I have
syntax of the
already
curve.
said to you, it's the syntax for post, and I've already sent you in the chat for
Okay,
a
okay,
very
okay,
detailed
okay.
curl and
Okay, we'll go through that. Okay, fine.
sure. All right. So
And exactly what is the purpose of Fast API? So is
Fast
it
API is like a brain. It's a server. It gets requests, it processes whatever is in the inside, and then returns you the output. It's, let's say, the brain of an application, right? It's a framework. You can use Node.js, you can use you can use Flask, you can use Django, but at the end of the day, Fast API is the best for, let's say, microservices in our case, right?
so basically chatbots and all they also they use Fast API, right?
Depends. It depends. For our case, we'll be using Fast API, so it's just a framework, you can call it. Oh, sorry, yeah, it's a framework. Yeah. All right. So, is what Postman is what curl is, right? Postman and curl are basically the same thing, right? But one is CLI based and one is GUI based. All right, that's it. Is this
What is
clear
the
or not?
full form of CLI?
I think we had a session earlier, right, on the same thing about post HTTP methods and all of that. I think that would be a prerequisite for this session. Am I right, Carlton?
Yeah, there was a session earlier where Jivraj explained what post, get, and all those methods are. So in the in the curl command, for example, when you put dash x actually is telling what method, and then the parameter for that, as you've seen, is it says post. So if you changed it to get, then it would be a get request. And to answer another question, like you were asking, someone was asking why use Fast API as opposed to say Flask. The main advantage is Fast API is it's a modern framework for APIs specifically. It has built-in validation for Pydantic. Okay, so Pydantic works naturally with Fast API, and then it's got native asynchronization support. So,
Carlton,
I think
yeah,
that's the
Carlton,
most important,
just
the native
just want
asynchronous.
to Carlton and Sujal just want to say something.
yeah,
The thing is that I'm not aware of these things. Okay,
okay,
so probably at the first instance it will be I'm just speaking for me. So
yeah,
probably at
yeah,
the
sure,
first
sure.
instance it will be quite a lot for me to take at one go. Maybe
Okay,
after I research on a lot of things, then
yeah,
things will become a bit clear. Clear slowly. So
okay,
that's why
okay.
I'm asking these things.
Sure, no problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah.
But to continue what I was saying, so some of you are probably familiar with Flask because you have used it in MAD 1 or MAD 2. The main advantage Fast API has, I mean, there are several advantages actually. It's has built-in support for Pydantic. It's got native async support. So async or asynchronous usage means that your server can simultaneously process multiple incoming requests at the same time. So it's very highly performant. Okay, and in a data science environment, you want high performance. But then there is one more big advantage. So notice that Sujal was showing you post through Postman, then he showed you using curl and all that sort of thing. So Fast API automatically creates
Yes. Yeah.
the docs. Okay, which is you don't even have to have Postman. All you can do is just go straight to docs, and it will immediately load up for you this amazing interface where you can
Yeah.
test your endpoints. That is
Yeah.
so amazing that you can test endpoints like this.
Mhm.
In Flask, you can't do this, right? You'll have to do a lot of setup to get it to do something like that. So that's the major advantages. There may be others, but those are the main ones. So that's why we all our workflows generally in TDS we will use Fast API for a lot of things.
See, you can see this. You don't even need to go to Postman. I forgot to mention this. Thanks for mentioning this, Carlton. So I can just basically have this entire thing over here instead of, I'd say, curl or Postman. I don't even need Postman for the matter, right? I can just have this as hi. Right? I can execute this, and yeah, I think the execute. Okay, where is the? Oh, sorry. Yeah, as you can see, we've got this, the response body. So yeah, you can use the slash docs behind the endpoint, and you can test every endpoint. So this, as Carlton mentioned, right? This is actually a very good feature to have in FastAPI, and also asynchronous support. I think that's the best in my opinion, and Pydantic is makes things simple for all of us. So I think this module is done, right? The logs, the outputs, the input, and the errors, right?
Would you mind
Yep.
sharing this PDF?
Yeah, sure, I'll do it.
The
Right.
link you
I'll
can
get
share.
back to this later. It's just something that
Okay.
I'll share in a bit. Okay, now what is secret and code? Okay, so when we are working with applications, right, we'll have some things that we don't want to tell, that we don't want to share in public about, right? Now, if you see, let's open our Git workflow. We have all of these changes, right? Now, if I have a Git add all, Git add dot, right, I'll be adding all of these, right? Or if I just have remove all of them or add all of them, right, at once, then sometimes I might miss this. I might put this out, which is our secret. Ritik 1 to 3 is our API key, and this is our secret. Or let's say CSV, right? Let's say this is our database, right? I don't want this to be seen by anyone else. I just want this to be private to me, or organization, right? So I don't want this to be out there. So what I'll do is I'll create a gitignore file, dot gitignore file, right? And I'll be having these over there. So one is an env, one is the sujal.csv, and also vnvs as well. I don't want to push all of these to that. I might miss it out someday, right? So it's better to be much more careful, because it will take a lot of time to push this, and also it's not required at all. Right? So I can just have this much is fine, right? So since that's done, if you see, I won't be seeing it over here again, right? Just because I have the gitignore file now, I won't be seeing it again. Is this understood? Hey guys, is this understood?
Yeah. So
Yes, please repeat.
basically, yeah. So
Yes,
basically,
yes. It's
gitignore is like an exclusion list. It's saying whatever you do, even if you say add add dot right in your Git, which means add every file to track, it will also look at the git ignore list and exclude everything that is in the git ignore list. So it's an exclusion list of things never to add at all when you're committing.
So once that's done, I can just stage all of these files. I can have commit, right? And I can just maybe edit it over here.
where should we keep this file, the git ignore file?
Oh, okay,
Where should we keep, in which folder?
in the root folder.
In the root. If we keep in
So
the
right
root
now,
folder,
yeah,
and something is there in our the subfolders or child folders, then it will also ignore it. Suppose something
yeah.
is in the,
Let's say for example, let's say you have
please, another folder in,
let's say
and child folder is there, and something is
Shrikant,
that. Yeah,
right?
please.
Shrikant and Shri Serin, and let's say one more folder, Claire, right? So, so my bad. Let's have one a.py in Claire, and in over here. So we want to ignore what do you want me to ignore? Claire or the file, the folder or the file, right? I can ignore.
But
I want to ignore only this A. Let's say I want to ignore only this, right? I have to go to Shrikant, and then I have to go to Serin, and then I have to go to a.py. Now, if you see, I won't be able to add this. Got it?
You mean to say, with respect to the root folder, we have to put the path of that
Yeah,
file
with
or
respect to
something.
it.
Got it.
With
Got it. Thank
respect
you.
to it. Yeah.
Got it.
That's it.
So,
All right.
Sujal, just can you just open that folder once? The
Which
ones
folder?
the Shri Sering
Okay, I
one.
deleted it actually. Let me just create a new
Oh,
one. Yeah, what do you want inside this?
yeah. Inside this, since you created a.py inside this folder, right?
Yes.
Inside Shri. So, say for example, the moment you ignore this folder, won't the file also get ignored?
The
Or
entire file is getting ignored, but over here I specified the route. I went to Srikanth and I went inside a folder setting and then I went to e.py. I went up till here, so I'm specifying it. If I want the entire folder ignored, I can just do this.
so okay. So basically, if you want the file, then you'll have to go to basically the entire directory, right?
Yeah, you have to specify it. Right. So that's done. Right. Now what is a problem is I am not able to publish it, it seems like. And the reason for that, okay, the thing is, okay, I have to just restart my terminal because when I commit it without any comment, it gets stuck. All right, so let me just see where my status is currently. Get status. Nothing to commit. Right, so it's not pushed, I guess. Let me just go to my GitHub main. Okay, the branch is not pushed. Is it? Oh, it's pushed. Oh, it's pushed. Yeah, so it's pushed. So as you can see, the entire thing is pushed, right? And if anyone wants to make changes, they can basically clone the repo and there's a huge, like if I start talking about Git, right, it won't end even if this month ends because Git just has a lot of things to do. But this is basically what you need to get started on with, right? Your code is out there in the public. If this was an assignment, if this was a task, you would be able to submit whatever you've worked on. All right. So see, the API keys are not here because of the git ignore file. All right. The CSV file is not here because we had it in the git ignore. All right. So is this clear or not? The secrets
Yeah, clear,
part.
sir. Clear. No.
Clear, right? And
Yeah.
okay. So one thing that in TDS, right, is very important is having an automation mindset. All right. So why do we need this? All right. So let's say why is ChatGPT there? What problem is it automating? Anyone? Okay.
Pardon?
Sorry for that.
Pardon?
I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for that. My Siri just started speaking. I'm so sorry. All right. So
Pardon?
what problem is ChatGPT solving in any use case? The problem that ChatGPT basically is solving is we don't need to go to websites to extract information, right? Let's say if I have a query, right? What is the structure of the IITM BS degree? If I want to enroll in this degree, I can basically just ask ChatGPT and it will lay out the entire thing. Why? Because it has access to the data. All right, and it is most of the times very accurate, right? Not always accurate, but most of the times it's very accurate. And see, I don't have to go to the portal. I don't have to figure out the place and do all of that. It will just tell me the entire thing. If I want it in a particular format, it'll give that to me. Is that understood? What problem is ChatGPT solving? What
I have
manual
a
work is
question.
it
I have a
solving?
question here. One
Just a
question.
second. I am asking you a question now, Shrikant.
Yeah, please.
Answer my question first, and then you question me.
Okay, fine.
We have a deal?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead and answer my question first.
The chat GPT is going to the websites and the relevant information is searching and presenting to us.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
my
What
answer.
problem?
But
What problem is it solving? It is doing that. But what problem is it that we have that is solving?
We don't have to go to the website to check
websites,
information.
it is searching from the website and presenting to us
Is
directly.
Yeah.
working in the
You don't
workflow.
have to do that,
Yeah,
right? So that's
yeah.
the problem that it's solving. It's automating that manual work of us going to a website, finding the correct page, extracting the information and processing it. We don't have to do that by ourselves. That's what ChatGPT is doing. Now, Shrikant, please go ahead with the question. I'd be glad to answer it.
The chat GPT actually normally in our cases, suppose we given a prompt to the chat GPT and it is presenting towards a very informative things. But when from different websites, not only one website, it goes to different websites and presents all the information integrating to and presenting to us. But normally, what when we go to the websites, some websites, it requires login first. Then we enter in that website. So whether the chat GPT has the special privilege to go inside and then extract this and give it to us, presenting us. This is my question.
It's not actually able to do that. It will simply say that it's
But,
not able to do it, right? If I
but
ask
normally,
ChatGPT something from the insides of this degree, right? When is the date for when is the TDS sessions happening this term? It won't be able to answer that because that is unique to every student. You need to log in for that, right? It depends on the
okay.
application. If our application allows the agent to log in with the credentials, then only will it have access to the information. All right,
But
that's
what why I felt that suppose you go to the website, the first is a prompt comes. Enter your email without password. Just enter your email because they collect the data for our data. Then only website opens. Then only we are able to see. But when the same thing as we ask from the website, concerned website through ChatGPT, it gives the information to the ChatGPT. This is my question.
Okay,
Whether
so
it happens,
there is some problem. If you paste a discourse link, ChatGPT will not able to scrap the data from that link.
yeah, you are right. That will not scrap the
But
data.
the link that you are talking, if
Hmm.
that is just JavaScript disable, so if that email part you can disable with JavaScript and scroll the page, then that part ChatGPT can do.
Okay, okay. That's why I go. Okay, okay. It will do something like okay. To some extent, it enters. Okay,
mm.
okay,
So it
okay. Fine.
depends on the back end of how the application
Yeah,
is
yeah.
designed, right?
What
So
privilege has been given to them? Him. Okay.
right, all right.
It
So
depends on
why
the
do
model. It depends on the model also. Okay, what model
not
we are
the
using,
model?
right?
I would say it depends on the
Mm-hmm.
backend
Got it.
model.
Got it.
It's
Right.
not
Right. 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 Okay.
so.
Okay. Thank you.
Why do we need this? All right. So what happens is most students, right? The number one reason I've seen students struggle in TDS is because they have the mindset of writing every code line by line. Some students, right? I've seen some peers of mine who have tried doing that, and TDS is simply not meant for that. It's meant to solve real world problems, not code something a legacy that's already there, right? A student application or a household application, right? So knowing where you want to use AI is very important. All right. So that is one part where I see, right? Sometimes you do need the manual work. You need to go and see what is important and what is not, right? Sometimes you do need to like have a logic coded by yourself because sometimes you're not able to explain it to the chatbot to do it for you. So you have to do it by yourself. But if you are able to like let's say uh, think of it, right? You can let's say make it into a code. So that's one part. And now getting into like what I actually mean, right, is automations, right? For GitHub actions and hands-off. Right? So I'll give you two examples. So where I use automation is the testing, right? Let's say I have an entire application. I'll just show you one of my GitHub repos. All right, so just a second. This, um, Yeah, so this is one of my recent projects, and I'll just show you the, yeah. So this is the bash file for it. And what this is doing is before I push it to my main page, it is performing checks. All right. And all of this, I will be very honest, I did not code even a single line of it. I think I changed one part, and that was the URL part over here. But I did not code even a single part of it. Why? Because I gave the entire code base, this entire source file, the application and the main, right, over here as the code base, and I told it to write a script for me. Why? Because I know how to send a curl request, I know how to send a postman request, but there are edge cases that need to be handled. There are things like, is my API credit still there, right? Is my API for GA for Google Analytics for still working? Is my SEO page up, right? I need to make those checks, and just having a script solves that problem before deploying it to production. All right. And second is the GitHub Actions, which is, let's say, a better version of what I did, which is a, let's say, production level of version of what I did, right? So if you go over here and if you go to Actions, this page allows you to create a workflow. Most of the times it checks if your, like, let's say if your application is breaking or not somewhere, right? It automatically does that. To give like a one-liner overview of why this is done is because, let's say if you are working something in local, right, in your local repository or your own branch, and you're merging it to the dev or the production, right? Obviously the code bases will be different over there, because let's say your friend is contributing over there, let's say Carlton is contributing in my case, let's say Ritik is contributing, and let's say I'm contributing at the same time. I'm pushing codes, 3 people at the same time. There's a huge chance that if we three are not in sync, then something might break, right? And we don't want that to happen to our client, right? So a set of checks is done so that whenever there's a problem, it stops. And in the actions itself, right, it can send you a notification or, notify you if there's a failure. So this is where automation plays a key role, right? If Ritik or Carlton wants to add anything on this point about automation, please go ahead.
I mean, automation and security, all these things are very big topics. But this was a good introduction to why automate things. You want to automate things that you repeat a lot, and it saves you a lot of time and a lot of tools. Even things like, you may think, writing things in GPT, right? So when you're generating code for from GPT, sometimes there are some prompts that you have engineered carefully over time to make GPT work a very specific way. Even those things, templating, all these sorts of things work into automating your workflow. And the more you automate, the more efficient and productive you'll be. And that's a very important concept to learn, and it will come with practice and experience. But yeah, I think you've covered everything that we are going to cover today, and it's getting 10 minutes past. So thanks, everyone. I don't think there is anything else we need to cover today. There is a G form. I highly suggest you write in the G form your comments, and you can also post in discourse. There's no issue. We looking forward to see what response we get on them, and based on the information we get on them, we may add some extra session for any additional information that we think might be helpful before you start your TDS
So
journey.
can you share the form, sir, in the chat box?
It should have been pinned. Is it not pinned?
Yeah, it's pinned. Just share it again. Just have a look.
Yeah.
Well, it is already shared by Mayank Poddar.
Yeah, it's pinned at the top.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so please give your honest feedback. There's one thing that we as a TDS team do is we, don't mind what people say. It's very important for us to know how we can help you. So please, write what things you want additional help with, and we'll see if it's possible. Not everything is possible, but at least it will give us an idea of what students are struggling with or finding difficult, and also tell us what worked, so we know we should repeat these things in the future or not. Okay. Thank you very much.
One
All
thing. Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, you can
Hello.
go ahead. You can go ahead. Go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Just hey Carlton, do we want breakout rooms for now if there's a lot of students who have questions?
Sorry, what was that?
I think someone is asking a question.
Okay.
Sir, can you arrange another class for the networking?
We haven't decided that yet. We'll first look at the GForm responses, and based on interest levels and what people are requesting, we'll make a decision on that. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
I'm not going to stay on for longer because I got to leave. But the TAs, if they want to continue the session, they can. But I'm stopping the recording now. And if you've got any more further questions or doubts, or just speak candidly, then that's fine.